Now, earlier today, you guys, I released a poll on Twitter trying to gauge a response from the fan base in regards to the lack of action today and the lack of action this entire month in the January window. An overwhelming amount of people felt very disappointed by the lack of action in this window, and I can kind of understand why. There's been no strikers, no left backs, no midfield reinforcements. We haven't sold Giroud, we haven't sold Alonso, Pedro, so many players. And after Frank's response in today's press conference, he seems a bit pissed off himself. And when you see teams signing your Piatek's and your Brunos, and we haven't signed anyone, well, it gets you thinking, Nini, what's happening? Why aren't we backing the manager? Why aren't we signing players? Why aren't we getting rid of Deadwood? What is happening? I thought the plan was to be ambitious. I thought it was about going to the next level. Nini, we've wasted a window we were desperate for, because at the time, we never even realized that we'd have the opportunity to sign players in the first place. Nini, how can we fumble the bag like this? Now, everything I've said are the thoughts and opinions from a lot of people that I've been seeing on social media, from the fan base, out and about. But the question that I want to ask is, who was really available in this window? Now, it's too easy to look at players like Bergwijn and Fernandes because clubs in United and Spurs actually needed positions in these areas. We need a striker, and signing a striker in the market, it was very difficult, way more difficult than signing Fernandes and Bergwijn, two players that have been looking to leave for a very long time. And let's look at the realities of actually signing a striker in this window. Today, Man United are close to signing Ighalo from China. Yes, that's Ighalo that used to play for Watford. He's going to be signed on loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. And if you're asking me, it doesn't get more desperate than that. Now, let's apply this to us. Let's imagine that we're desperate for a striker and we've turned our attention to Ighalo. Now, is that really a signing that's going to get the confidence up? That's going to make fans confident and optimistic about securing a top 4 finish? Of course not. Instead, you guys, and I bet you anything, if we signed a player like this, you go on social media, you see non-stop criticism, scathing attacks, left, right, and center. That's what's going to happen. And the club, finally, and very intelligently, have decided that they're not going to fall victim to this type of mentality. This type of pressure mentality. Lampard has said from the start, we are only signing players that are going to take us to the next level. Next level signings, you guys. And you have to ask yourselves, what is a next level signing? Is Jadon Sancho that next level signing? Of course he is. But if you were to sign a Bergwijn, someone that does play in his position, well, what does that mean for Sancho? What are you telling Sancho? What are you telling Pulisic? What are you telling Hudson-Odoi? Let's think of the long-term possibilities, you guys. Look at a team like Liverpool. They've had a long-term game plan since day one. It's taken them 4 years to get to this level. And look at them. By far the best team easily in the country. This didn't come overnight. This came with careful planning and belief and support. And at the end of the day, these are the basic criteria in which clubs become successful in. Like, let's actually break down targets this window. Starting with Timo Werner. He said that he wants to stay at RB Leipzig because now, for the first time in how many years, they have a real opportunity to win the Bundesliga. Why would he leave right now? Let's say we spend X amount of money. The player himself has stated that he is not going to leave his friends and his teammates when they have a massive opportunity to win the Bundesliga. Let's also turn our attentions to Dembele from Lyon. With Depay being out for a while, Lyon aren't going to sell their best striker in a window like this, not when they have their own ambitions of reaching European football for next season. We go to Wilfried Zaha, and he got priced up by his club Crystal Palace. 80 million plus agent fees, wages. And of course, logically, if you can entertain the idea of spending that type of money, then why not wait until the summer where more players of this dimension are available and better players too are on the market? Because if you can pay 80 million for Zaha, then you can pay 120 million for Sancho. It's that simple. And of course, the two big ones, Dries Mertens and Edinson Cavani. With Cavani, we should know this by now, he already agreed a gentleman's agreement last summer. Last summer that was already agreed. But a lot of people still feel that Cavani should have been signed. He was a guarantee, and I don't understand why. Now, I guess to some people, a gentleman's agreement means absolutely nothing, but that's not based on Cavani as a man. And in this industry, you have to move like a man. You have to be a man of your words. That's how it works. And of course, another reality was, in the end, the price actually by Cavani just wasn't worth it long term, because if you can spend that type of money in January on a 33-year-old, then you can spend that type of money on a 21-year-old, 24-year-old in the summer. Now, the funny thing is that with most of the players that we were linked to this January, the positive news is that we've already started talks with the clubs. The players, the targets we want, already know that there is interest from us. And with this mentality, this would make us a lot more confident for the summer, because these are the same players that we are going to go back in for in the summer. We've made first contact already, you guys. Let's be optimistic. Let's respect the players' wishes, because they have their own professional demands themselves. And let's try to look at how the market and football actually works, instead of always falling for these fantasies, this fairy dust, this delusion, because at this point it kind of is. Yeah, so many people believe delusional takes that will never ever happen, that don't make any business sense, that aren't applied in the realities of how the industry actually works and how the club operate in. And I need to say this because if you keep believing in delusions, you're only going to constantly disappoint yourself, because life just doesn't work like that. I'm always making this point every single time, I feel, but we can never ever forget the 17-18 season. One of the worst windows I've ever seen at this club. An illegal amount of money was wasted. Absolutely wasted on players that took us nowhere. They only brought us down another level. And to this day, we're still paying the price because we can't get these guys off the wage bill and cash in on these players. Let's not make that same mistake again. Lampard has publicly stated many times that the only players that he wants to sign for this club are players that, one, suit how we play and understand things, and number two, are going to improve the team and how the team plays. Now, a lot of targets are nice, because let's be serious, there's a lot of great players in world football. There's not only like 10 or 15, there's hundreds of great players out there. So it's no surprise why our imagination starts to run wild, because we think of all these different possibilities. But we have to consider, do those possibilities fit in with the reality that this club is trying to build? And that's no. As a fan base by now, we should understand why thinking short term every single time always affects you in the long term. We should know that better than any other fan base out there, because how many short-term decisions have we made that has cost us in the long term every single time? Most famously with players like De Bruyne, Salah, Lukaku, players that should still be here and we should be at a much better level. You see how things change very quickly when you don't prioritize long-term strategy and planning. The reality is, the dilemma the club are in this window is that they have targets that they want to sign in the summer. They understood that reinforcement was needed because getting a top four might be a flip of the coin. It might be 50-50, it could be a risk. And signing a guaranteed player that could help boost our chances of getting a top four finish, well, this is the best opportunity to do that. But the club also said that if they can't sign the targets that they want, that's actually going to improve the team, they're not going to go back in the market to sign any Tom, Dick and Harry. The only reason why we were linked with Mertens and Cavani was due to their age, due to the fact that their contracts are expiring as well, and in the long term, they aren't really affecting any squad dynamics. But now that these guys aren't available on the market, well, that's that, you guys. No players are coming in. But does this mean that this is the end of the world? Does this mean that we aren't getting a top four finish? We should give up on this season, write this season off, and only think about the summer? Of course not. And if you do think that, then I'd have to ask you, why did you support this club in the first place? What does it actually mean to you to be a fan of a football team? And if you like things like efficiency, then why even be a Chelsea fan? You should have known for a very long time now that we don't make things very simple for ourselves. We have positives, you guys. Pulisic's coming back, Hudson-Odoi is getting stronger every single game, and the actual big signing, the only player that could come into this squad and improve us, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, is training with the team, you guys. He's going to be coming back, and that means the goals, the assists, the quality, the link-up play, the power. You guys, it's all coming back in the not too distant future. Remember that Lampard told the fan base to be excited by Reece James and what he's going to bring to the team? Well, he's saying the very same things about Ruben, so keep that optimism high, you guys. We've got these guys coming back, we've made first contact with key signings for the summer already. Not everything is doom and gloom. And now I'm going to end my point, you guys, and there is something that I do want to say and get off my chest. Now I'm just saying, if you want big players to come, big signings to come, then my friends, A top 4 finish is your salvation. But the reality is, how are we going to get there? As a fan base, what can we do to help the team get there? It's very simple. And all we have to do is support the team. And I really mean it. I really, really mean it. I remember last season, you guys. I remember last season when the fan base was absolutely in love with Ruben and Hudson-Odoi. You saw how these guys were interacting with the fans on Twitter. You could see them feeding off that energy. And is it any surprise that we saw confidence? Confidence. We saw confident displays from these players who were doing their thing. And that's what the fans can do. That is the power of being a fan. Get behind the team. How many fans recently are getting blocked by the club's admin, getting blocked by players as well? Then they're acting entitled and acting surprised? Well, no, you shouldn't be. Take the L because you're wrong. You abused, you trolled, you did something to deserve it. And it's this lack of accountability that, honestly, I don't really like too much in the fan base and just in general. You know, I'm one of those guys, yeah, but if I mess up, if I do something, I take ownership for that. I take accountability. Be accountable for your abuse. What are you expecting is going to come from that? All you're doing is making the players feel even less confident when they're performing, and the less confident these players feel, the worse they're going to perform. And for you lot that are talking about you want your Sanchos, your big signings, etc., that's not going to come until the summer. So if you're that desperate for it, if you hate some of these guys so much, I'm sure for the next few months you can pretend to be a fan until the season ends. You guys, I don't like to pander, and I don't like to be a victim to past events. I like to learn from the mistakes. I've seen the constant mistakes the club have made time and time again. And I'm really surprised why the fan base wants the club to make those very same mistakes again, those very same short-term mistakes again, and costing us in the long term again. And on that point, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Listen, I don't care that we didn't sign any players. I only care that we signed the right ones. And I'm going to wait for the right ones to come this summer. But until then, I really hope that we just get behind the team, give support. Is it that hard? Why are we fans of the club otherwise?